Hey everybody, this is Aaron. Just so you know, this one is quite late, and I am really sorry for that, but you'll see I have quite a bit going on, and lots more to come. So I'm going to try to do a better job of staying on top of this. Just so you know, this is also a little bit iffy. Had some technical issues on this one, but also so the sound quality is also not really there. So we'll do better next time, but for this time, I hope you enjoy. Welcome to the E6S podcast with Jacob and Aaron, your weekly dose of tips and tricks to achieve excellent performance in your business and career. Join us as we explore deeper into the practical worlds of Lean, Six Sigma, project management, and design thinking. In this episode number 191, Happy New Year! Finally, and happy anniversary. Yes, we are 4 years away from day one. Jacob and I do a reflection on 2017 and look forward to 2018. If you're just tuning in for the first time, find all our back episodes on our podcast, table of contents, at E6S-methods.com. If you like this episode, be sure to click the like link in the show notes. It's easy. Just tap our logo, click, and you're done. Tap, click, done. Hey, Jacob, how are you?
I'm good, Aaron. How are you doing?
Jacob, I'm doing fantastic. Happy 2018 to you.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you, and happy 4-year anniversary.
Wow.
Yes.
Can't believe it's been that long.
I know. Seems like just yesterday we were talking about Lean Six Sigma. Mm-hmm. Yes, it did go by pretty quickly, but yet here we are. Mm-hmm. So, thought we'd just do our traditional thing and reflect on 2017 and what are we looking forward to in 2018?
All right.
So, personal or professional for you, Mr. Kurian? What went well last year?
What went well? Pretty much I was able to take my 6-week sabbatical, which was definitely a highlight and a big benefit from the organization that I had. So that was pretty good. That allowed me to spend time with my family, which I usually don't get much because most of them are not in the country. So that was good. I would say that was probably my personal highlight from last year. Professional highlight... I don't think I learned anything specifically new last year. But I think from a career growth perspective, I feel like I was able to prove some of the things I've been learning at work. I don't know if I had anything like highlight worthy that I would share.
So prove, you mean on the agile?
Yes, front? On the agile front, I feel like people are recognizing me more, that I'm no longer just talking and I'm actually meaning something. Versus initially it was more, you're just saying words. I don't understand this. So I think I've made that graduation. Or at least people are more buying into it or bought into it last year than they were previously.
Okay. So, but it's but that comes through practice, right? And rather than, before it was just academic, it's a little bit more maturity on the learning curve.
Exactly, yes.
Cool. What about not so well? Anything?
But, nothing really jumps out.
Yeah.
Personal for sure. I don't think I've been doing good with my working out regiment. I was going down going down a good path, and then I think midway, once I did my sabbatical, everything just fell apart.
So for me, my highlight was also a trip. Went to for work, Sydney, Australia, and I thought it was just a fantastic city. And I'd love to live there, but it's way expensive, and I don't think they pay. The pay is not relative to the cost, so I'm thinking, hey, let me get a job down there, and I'll live in the city. Can't do it, It's just
that's what I've heard in general. I don't know how people survive there or what they do different.
Yeah, no, I don't either, and it's actually, well known in the culture. There's it's a big deal if you happen to be able to afford a place in the city, but it's hustling and bustling, so people must figure out a way.
Yeah.
I started my MBA. I never thought I would. So I started the online MBA with Jack Welch Management Institute.
Fancy.
I got my gallbladder removed, and that might be considered a bad thing, except for the fact that I had been dealing with issues with it for 6 years, and getting it removed just took a whole relief, gave me a large relief, because now I could eat without sometimes feeling like I was being impaled with a spear after eating a
a decadent meal.
Nice.
So I'm working to sell my house, buying a new house. I ran a half marathon. I started losing weight too. I kind of put it back on these holidays, but I'm going to try to get back into it. And the coup de grace, it'll be days or weeks away. I'm going to be a grandfather.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can tell I'm really excited. I'll be 40-year-old grandfather. So, it took a little getting used to, but we are looking forward to it now.
Sounds like fun.
So not so well. Basically just too much drama in my personal life. I don't know if I captured it all there, but work, selling the house, buying a house, being in a different state from where I work and stuff like that. That's just a little bit much. And I think a lot of that is actually reflected in how this year's or last year's episode plans had gone with, we'll get into it. So E6S methods related, as far as what went well, we did get invited to be part of a digital network called Ascendo Reliability, and they do a lot of reliability related podcasts, and we had Fred Schenkelberg on, and he said, hey, I'd like to include you in our catalog. And I said, hey, great. I'm just waiting for, some technical things to be worked out there, but we may be featured on a new website once that's all completed, so that's good.
Nice.
I got a little deal, maybe the first paying gig as a result of our efforts here.
All your hard work, basically.
Yeah. But actually, I would like to credit I'd like to credit this, but really the credit goes to, I knew a guy, we used to work with him, and he said, hey, I know a guy who can give design of experiments training. It's pretty good. Maybe you should consider him. So that's how it happened. It had nothing to do with any of this. But, I'm going to pretend like this helped. Like having a podcast and a online following helped. I'm going to pretend.
Excellent. Sure. Why not?
I'll give it credit for the next company that wants to do that. Say, oh, I heard this guy on a podcast. He gives really good design of experiments training. We should hire him. Hint, hint.
Excellent.
We hit over 3,000 subscribers, and that's a pretty good one. Yeah, I was pretty impressed by that. And at the October time frame, it really spiked because we were really hovering about 2,000 weekly subscribers. Then it spiked. So
any particular region or in general overall?
Well, it's 60% U.S. and then it's for the rest of the country or rest of the world. It's like almost flat, but U.S., China, Russia seem to be some of the major ones, but it's really primarily just the U.S.
Got it.
What not so well for E6S related? Well, a lot of the episode that I planned to do as during our last anniversary episode, 2017, 4 episodes we just didn't do.
I was going to say, are still in plan for 2018.
Well, I don't know if I should make such promises anymore, but I had thought about covering, because we talked about there's an ISO standard for Lean Six Sigma, and we're like, what the heck? What is this? So we were going to try to get into that. I never got a hold of a copy. I had a friend who said he was going to get me a hold of a copy. Basically, I don't want to pay $100 for this thing. But if I can get a hold of it just to read it and do some sort of analysis, I'll do that. But I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to spend $100 just for an episode that a few people will listen to.
Yep.
Topics on systems thinking. I have friends with some experts on the subject, and it's kind of a broad subject, but Monte Carlo simulations and more so, and then some of the other tools which I've definitely just gotten away from this year or last year. I keep saying this year, but SPC, I've been putting off SPC for a long time and just getting distracted with whatever other episode I want to put in, or with real life and just giving a whole lot of reruns. And I guess we'll talk a little bit about that.
All right.
So yeah, really, where was I? Each week come along. You went on your sabbatical. We did a lot of articles, right? Which sort of, in my opinion, it made things easy. Didn't have to do a lot of prep work.
But for I'd be honest, right? That was actually fun for me.
Yeah.
It is, I guess it's always easy to critique somebody else's work. So that I don't know if that was the fun part in it, but I definitely had some. One, maybe like you said, it didn't need as much preparation, but I don't think that was the fun part. It was just you could always challenge how different people think or how different people present the information, and I just found that challenging or interesting, I should say.
Yeah, no, I appreciate those kinds of debates and being able to do that. It is a little divergent from what was the initial vision of this, right? I mean, we want this to be learning for the practitioner, and snarky and debating is also a basis of that. So I don't want to forget that, and I'm gonna let the audience decide. Is that stuff better, or do you want to learn more about the tools? Would you rather me do statistical process control and a couple articles here and there, or what's the right mix? I'm still not sure what that is based off of feedback so far. So I'd love more feedback from the audience.
Excellent.
So, and the way I said that feels like cheating is because exactly right. I didn't have to prepare anything. It was just like, oh, here's an article. Let's talk about it. It's pretty easy. And I actually feel really bad about this, but there was 2 weeks where I actually released nothing. Like 2 weeks, not too long ago.
Just I think it was.
Huh? Yeah, I did. And so a couple things happened. I was releasing on Sundays and trying to release at 6 a.m. every Sunday, and then I was like, okay, well, this means I keep having to edit on the weekends, and I really want to just keep my time with my family on the weekends because the whole work dynamic and living situation outside of the state, the hotels, and now I'm rooming with a friend of mine, so it's hard to actually, I don't have as much just individual time to do the editing and planning anymore, so I moved it to Wednesdays, and then that became difficult, and I just didn't do it. I didn't even release a rerun, just kind of like forgot, so I'm aware of that. I don't even know if the listener's aware of it. It was a big deal to me, to go almost 4 full years of never missing a week, and then, in the last minute missing a couple. But, I got to say, I already forgive myself, so it's not that bad.
Excellent.
So that's where we are as far as E6S, the highs and the lows. There's still, we still got plenty of things in the queue that never got to, but it takes time, so want to keep pressing forward.
Nice.
All right, so let's look back. Favorites for the year. What do you think, Jacob? You got any favorites for the year? Favorite episodes?
One of the things that I found interesting is the job posting one, which we did, where we were critiquing some of the job postings that exist, and we were looking at it and seeing, what are some of the people looking for? What are some of the requirements? Is it even realistic or fair to expect somebody to have this level of experience for what they're looking for? I thought that was more for me, even though it was one of those critique ones, I enjoyed that a little bit. I don't know, do you have anything that...
Yeah, no, I like that one. I mean, I guess we can call that one critique, but that was not, that wasn't an article per se.
True.
Was,
it was critiquing real positions.
Yeah, I think those are valid critiques.
Yes. Do you want to go next, or you want to just rattle off all?
So I've got I guess my number one, and I got to say this one is my favorite, and I know it's not yours, and it wasn't the fan favorite either. So I'm a little divergent on this, but this was a project schedule planning episode 158, which was task duration estimation, where I brought in Monte Carlo and we did sort of an different analysis on project planning that took standard deviation variation into account, so that we could better account for whether or not we're going to be on time. And for me, it was really enlightening because it showed me that pretty much all of the standard ways that we do for project planning will result automatically in being late. So I enjoyed that one, but I think a lot of that was what I learned in preparing for the episode.
Yeah, I mean, from that episode, what I enjoyed the most was, again, coming back to, I was definitely in the agile kick at that point, where it made me kind of say that any planning more than a quarter out is basically unnecessary planning, because at that point all you have is a roadmap on what is your next big priority. Now, it's different depending on which industry you are, so I think that's something I have to be more conscious about. If you are in some sort of construction or any of those areas, you have to plan that out with respect to equipment, machinery, supply chain, all those activities. So you need that level. And again, the more closer you are, the more better you are, and being aware of how off or how much variation should you expect, I think that is critical. But otherwise, I think for most of, let's call it DMAIC project planning, or even a regular continuous improvement project planning activities, I feel that might be an overkill. That's just my take.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. Yep. Yeah, because you really can't.
Yeah.
Unless you have such a large. I mean, you got to plan on variation, but you can't plan it with any sort of precision. You just know, okay, we hope to hit this date. Well, let's give some buffer based off of our track record. Yeah.
You are listening to E6S Methods Podcast, brought to you by E6S Industries. Join us on our website at www.e6s-methods.com. Journey through success.
Are you applying for professional certification in your field? You'll be happy to learn that all this time you've been streaming Jacob and me into your ears, you've also been earning continuing education units, or CEUs, which can be applied toward most professional certifications. You can do your research, all the math, and figure out which episodes are applicable for which discipline, or you can save yourself the time and hassle and just order a CEU report from us. All you need to do is provide us with which episodes you've listened to, and we'll provide you with a portfolio including details about each episode and a certificate of recognition with a CEU breakdown by competency, including leadership, tactics and tools, strategy deployment, and principles and philosophies. So if you have certification on the mind, start here and save some time. Just go to e6s-methods.com/CEU to order yours.
What do you got next?
Maybe I'm biased here, but probably I liked a little bit of the user stories episode that we had, which was more calling about, what are the requirements? How do you gather that? I equate it to being the voice of the customer episode, where you have to understand what you're doing, why you're doing, and what's the framework, and explaining that to the others so everybody gets it pretty simply. Mm-hmm. So that was one. It's probably because I'm working in that space more, and I'm probably biased because of that, but I thought that was something that I enjoyed.
Yeah, and I like bringing in the agile topics too, because that's one where I'm an enthusiast, but not a practitioner yet. Mm-hmm. So I like to have a mix of the old, and I shouldn't call it old, because the PMP stuff, it's still relevant, it's still there, and there's a lot of people who go after it. Mm-hmm. But it concentrates so much on the waterfall, I think it's overdone. Yeah. And we've gotten too far down that methodology, especially with IT related projects. Where there's just too many unknowns, and you can't possibly. We've actually created an industry is full of people who can't do work without a long list of requirements, and I think that's a problem.
Yep.
All right, my next favorite was 171 and 172, the Disc over DMAIC series, going through the different parts of, quote, spirit animals that you might need to evoke or invoke throughout the phases of DMAIC.
Couple of episodes on that, right? Yeah, 2 episodes. That's always interesting for me, right? Because it's understanding the personalities on the team to be successful in what you're doing. So
you got another one?
I'm thinking about it, right? And I think the one that probably interested me was the soft cost one. And I'm torn between the soft cost one and the know nothing black belt one.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I also enjoyed putting together the sort of the hiring or the applicant journey, mm-hmm. right, in the Tally No, where I had a quote friend do a bunch of job opportunities, and during that experience, I said, you know what, I should see what the journey map looks like for these, and do these companies realize what they're turning away? The top talent who are not desperate are not going to continue on this journey. And I know you and I at times have been in the middle of a job application and said, maybe I don't want this job so much.
I've done that recently a couple of times now. Where they want to know everything about, and they make me manually do everything. I'm like, okay, if this is how you operate, I don't think I'm meant for you.
Why did you make me link to my LinkedIn page if you're not going to take all the information that's there?
Yes.
All right. So audience favorites. So I can do a little bit of data mining. I do have some links that some audience members have clicked on to tell me whether they liked or disliked an episode. I actually didn't include this in your version of the show notes. I updated it later, I think. So the top favorites based off of likes were a rebroadcast of 50 Shades of Black, which is basically the commoditization of Six Sigma. That was from season 1.
Okay.
That had 6 likes.
Yep.
4 likes for I Quit, Kiss My ASQ Goodbye.
Okay.
Really like the idea of me not doing this anymore, apparently. 2 likes for Completely Intentional Mistake Proofing, 144. That was last season.
Okay.
2 likes for a story about Yelena, which was last year's holiday special.
Yep.
And then 2 likes for Lean Six Sigma Salary Trends, which is one I had done
Yourself.
on my own. I think you were on sabbatical still.
Possibly.
Yeah. So dislikes. Got 2 dislikes.
Whoa.
For project schedule planning near perfection. The one that I most liked creating. So I got 2 dislikes. I really, if anybody's listening and says, they can either message me and say, "Hey, Aaron, that guy, whoever's disliked that doesn't know what they're talking about. That was awesome." Or you can say, "Hey,
I agree.
I agree, and I disliked it because such and such." That would be useful to me. If I know why you disliked it, that would help me avoid that kind of thing in the future. And then this other one, we got the smart tips for successful black belts. We got 1 like, 1 dislike. I don't know who to believe.
Got it.
In iTunes right now, Disco over Demaic, Part 1 and 2 are leading as most popular, and then there's the soft cost for in-house rework, which is the one you mentioned, is also in iTunes right now.
Okay.
Leading for most popular, and they pretty much are beating everything else as far as what's in iTunes right now.
So how long is the history for that? Is it like over the last 6 months or the last 3 months, or what are they looking at?
Yeah, so I got 80 episodes in there,
okay.
And I discount all the more recent ones, like the ones done in the last 2 months, because those automatically have more plays.
Sure.
So if I go back beyond that, these ones have more plays than any of the others.
Got it. Okay.
Top website hits: Lean Six Sigma Salary Trends, Know Nothing Black Belt, Disc over Demaic, and Project Schedule Planning Gantt Charting, which we didn't mention yet. So that's top hits for this year. Top hits of all time: 50 Shades of Black. This all about commoditization.
Yep.
And this one is a bit of a surprise, but I really do get a lot of hits on this one. And this is getting back to project management, and that's episode 98. For the network diagram. So I'm guessing there's quite a lot of people out there who are studying for the PMP, and they're trying to figure out how to do a network diagram, because it can be a little bit daunting.
Yeah.
So I'm just guessing that they're using this as and I'm hoping it's helpful. If you are listening to this and you've taken a look at that one, let me know why. Let me know why, or if you've shared this one with anybody, let me know why. Capability indices, episode 68, In the Eye of the Cash Holder, part 3. Salary trends, and another one of my favorites, episode 124, FMEA, part 3 for scoring.
Wow.
Now, I got a little bit fancy, so those were of all time, but all time can be misleading because all time, some of them have more opportunity. So if I adjust for the age, then the top ones are 50 Shades of Black, Salary Trends, Are You Climbing Up?, Network Diagram, Value Stream Mapping, Part 3, and one of my favorites again, Kiss for PowerPoint.
I remember that one.
Episode 29. So we really are digging,
First year, 3 years back.
It seems clear that they liked what we were doing before.
Looks like it, yeah.
Or so. I don't see anything from year. I guess there's something to represent every year in there.
But think about it. But think about it.
Yes.
Most of the things, if you look at it, are all either like a define or, it's the early stages of a project, which is where most people typically spend their effort and time planning for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm sure if we start doing SPC and others, we might get equal number of hits. But if you look at how we flowed our episodes in the beginning, it was definitely define. We went through measure, and then we started analyze. We did some portions of it, and that's where we are if you think of general flow, and then we've added a lot of things in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I guess I'm not surprised. I'm just looking at so if I look at these top ones, I've got some from year 1, I've got some from year 2.
That's it.
I don't think I got anything from year 3.
Maybe
and the only one
network diagram.
Yeah, should be year. Maybe that's year 3.
That could be.
No, that should be year 2. It's on the cusp.
Could be early year 3. If anything.
Yeah, it depends on how many reruns I did that year. But not much from year 4, except for salary trends. That's all right. I already know this year was a bit of a bust, but we already talked about that. I forgive myself. All right, so looking forward, some of those episodes that we didn't do in 2017, I still want to try to, so we'll give some of those a shot. But I do have some leads on some other guests, at least. I've been in touch with the owners of Six Sigma Winery, and we actually have a plan put together. I just haven't really spoken with them. So this is former GE executive who went out to Napa Valley, started up a winery, and uses Six Sigma as part of how he runs it, so much that he named it Six Sigma Ranch, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
So we're got a pretty good plan for that. I want to get to hiring a black belt, but turning the tides back on some black belt resumes. And so I'm going to get a hold of some resumes, and we'll do a critique of those, sort of switch it around, pretend we're the hiring manager this time, and see how that one goes.
All right.
Then I'm going to invite some guests on for some past guests. One in healthcare, for hospital readmissions, then one in design thinking. I got a friend who works with Disney as a project manager. I'm going to try to get him in. And I also got a friend who is on the pit crew for NASCAR. So I'd like to get him in and do some comparison with Rapid Changeover and SMED, because I think there's a lot of parallels there. And if he could share some NASCAR stories at the same time, that I think would be a win.
Totally.
And, it's another year, so there's the ASQ salary survey just came out again, and there's some interesting changes in the trend there. So do an update on that once all the other economic trends come in, so that I can do a little normalization based off of cost of living. But, long story short, it looks like in ASQ the respondents last year, black belts and master black belts, make a lot more money than the respondents any other year before. So it's really put a strange dent in the trend. It almost looks like an outlier. So I'd be curious as to what happened there. I don't think I'll ever get to the bottom of it, but it sticks out as an anomaly for sure. And then I just got one listener request, and Jacob, maybe you can help with this request. So I had an episode 188, a episode that I had been holding on to for a long time. It was with a large automotive company. I was speaking with a vice president of IT who went through a large transformation. And when I finished the episode, they basically couldn't get permission from their marketing people to air it. And I held on to it for a long time. I said, finally, because I did a piss poor job of planning. I'm like, well, I've been sitting on this one, so what am I going to do? So I released it. I disguised the voice. I redacted all the identifying information, and I said, hey, I hope you guys like this. Let me know. So one guy did like it. Eric Gash liked it. He said, I enjoyed the, quote, real-world lessons related to this podcast, or in this podcast. I have passed this on to colleagues in our company's IT department. I would like to hear more episodes like this. And Eric, I would love to give you more episodes like this, except I don't have any. So I would love to reach out to any listeners who are doing any IT-related projects. And I know, Jacob, you're doing some. If we got any more IT transformation, IT kind of projects, we've got to try to live up to Eric's hope here.
All right. I don't know if I specific any IT transformation. We are doing some, I would say, typical lean projects on how to make sure our, we call it maintenance day changes to our infrastructure and other activities, and how do we get better at that. But that's more on a continuous improvement idea. I wouldn't call that necessarily a transformation.
Right.
I'd be happy to maybe share some of it. I don't know how much of it would be things I shouldn't share
obviously.
on how much issues we have internally, maybe.
Don't worry. I'll disguise your voice. No, I've got some IT related, but mostly they're just like, how do we answer trouble tickets faster, or how do we reduce,
cycle time.
And those are small things. But on a couple of them, I have an interesting application of tools which helped identify some of these things, but nothing that I would say would be earth shattering. So I really would invite anybody to come on and share some of their stories about IT, really the application of any of these things to IT or any transformation efforts. Please give me a call, or no, don't give me a call. I won't answer my phone, but send me an email.
Yeah.
I'll answer that.
Perfect.
All right. Hey, Jacob, any final thoughts and words of wisdom looking forward to 2018?
Totally. I mean, it was a good year, 2017. Probably wasn't the best, but, you learn and you keep moving forward, right? That's the plan.
Yeah, doing the best I can. I almost quit.
All right.
I almost quit a couple times, and trying to find the new motivation. I just got too many things going on, too many things that I'm juggling. So that's it. We're going to keep trying to push forward. I think pretty soon I got some guests to contact, stick my nose to the grindstone on getting some SPC episodes out there and ready, and we'll try to stockpile. I mean, we won't have much excuses anymore. I mean, you're not going away for 6 weeks, and hopefully I'll have a lot more free time on my hands. I don't know. We'll see.
You'll find out.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, Jacob.
All right, thanks, Eden. Happy New Year, everybody, again.
Yep, and thanks, everyone, for listening.
Thanks for listening to episode 191 of the E6S Methods podcast. Don't forget to click like or dislike for this episode in the show notes. Tap click done. If you have a question, comment, or advice, leave a note in the comment section or contact us directly. Feel free to email me, Aaron, Aaron, at e6s-methods.com or on our website. We reply to all messages. If you heard something you like, then share us with a friend or leave a review. Didn't like what you heard? Join our LinkedIn group and tell us why. Don't forget, you can find notes and graphics for all shows and more at www.e6s-methods.com. Journey through success. If you're not climbing up, you're falling down. Hey everybody, just a quick update. Yes, I am a grandfather now. I'm not quite into my new home yet, but soon.